I'm Pamela Rand, and I want to tell you some things about feeling young. In the morning, when I wake up, I don't feel very young. The first thing I do is a bunch of stretches in the morning, and stretch my back while I'm lying in bed. Really helps me when I get out of bed to feel that I've already stretched. And then, almost every day, I go on this trampoline. And I do it while my soft-boiled egg is boiling. I go on for 3 minutes. It changes my life. I feel energized. And you bounce a little bit. And then, as you get a little more bold, you start really jumping and jogging. So you can keep this up. You can either put your hands here. I do at least 25 jumping jacks. It improves my circulation. It improves my mind. I'm really, really awake and energized throughout the day because I have a little osteopenia, but it hasn't budged in 3 years. And I really give credit to the trampoline. Ask your doctor, get a little trampoline, and start feeling young.
Old age is not for sissies.
Welcome to Adventures in Feeling Young. I'm very privileged to have with us today a gentleman named Dr. Stephen Danaher. He is a NUCCA specialist. It's spelled N-U-C-C-A.
I'm a chiropractor that specializes in the NUCCA chiropractic system. Now NUCCA, it's a mouthful. So to help people remember it, we usually tell them that NUCCA means nobody understands chiropractic care anyways.
Why does NUCCA work when traditional full spine chiropractic does not really produce satisfactory results?
Okay, first of all, what NUCCA really means is National Upper Cervical Chiropractic Association. So we're adjusting the top vertebrae, C1. It's the first vertebrae below the neck. It's the most important vertebrae to adjust in the entire body. And the reason it's important is because proprioceptors that are embedded in the muscles of the neck. There's an area of muscles called the upper cervical complex. Embedded in here are between 10 and 20,000 position sensors called proprioceptors. And when this area is misaligned, those proprioceptors give the wrong information to the brain, and then the brain then distorts your spine and can make you twisted. And over time you get back pain, lumbar pain, neck pain, scoliosis, and many other non-pain health problems.
I was really in pain, aching. I had a lot gnawing in the back of my neck, day in, day out, all day. And I had a friend who said, hey, why don't you try NUCCA? And I myself said, NUCCA? And she explained to me what, that she lives in Oregon. She said, find a NUCCA specialist. And I really was delighted when I found you right in San Rafael.
Yes.
And you told me that it was probably, you said, well, you should have come in 20 years ago.
That is you. Now before x-ray, you cannot see it, but her misalignment on one side between the atlas, C1, and the neck is 13.5 degrees, which is fairly extreme. But after the first adjustment, I measured it on a post x-ray and I cut it in half. And also the primary misalignment went from 2.5 degrees to 1 degree. So I got about a 50–60% reduction on the first adjustment on a difficult case, and that's pretty good. Some cases are easier, but your case was a tough one.
But I have a question for you. You go in, I know that you measure the hips and all these things on this special scale. And then in the adjustment, you lie down. Why is the NUCCA adjustment so light? It's like a feather.
Well, they found if you put too much force, the body reacts against it and the muscles get tight and you can't get things to move and stay in a different position. So with a very, very light amount of force, the doctor is actually exerting with a tremendous amount of force, but the patient only feels about 1 ounce on their neck.
If that, I mean, we have a little video showing you actually doing the adjustment.
I'm working hard, you can see my muscles tensing my arms, but you don't really see much movement, and I'm not really doing very much movement. But I'm working my shoulders and pulling the shoulders together as tight as I possibly can, trying to develop a fair amount of force that somehow goes out through the arms, through this bone on the wrist, the pisiform, and into onto the transverse process of atlas, that's the edge of it, and we get things to move. And if I do the calculation correct, with the misalignment, determine the best angle to use and how to set you up on the special table, we usually get a good reduction on the first case.
Yeah, it's quite mathematical. I see you measuring things, and you have a string, and you make sure you're at the exact spot, and then sometimes I stand up and I feel, oh, wow, and then you have me lie down again and do a few more adjustments.
Well, we have to be very precise with NUCA. There's very little margin for error. And the math is relatively simple math, but it has to be done right. Now, you know, NUCA doesn't just work on necks. It works on lumbar problems also. Here's the spine. The lumbar is the lower part. Half the people in Marin County probably complain about low back pain from time to time. NUCA is great for low back pain. Just as good as for low back it is for necks.
Beyond neck, spine, scoliosis problems, you've had patients who've had like ALS, severe problems.
We've had patients come in with many problems. Now, I have an ALS patient. He's doing very well. As a chiropractor, we don't actually adjust.
Can't treat them, right?
Can't treat ALS, but we can treat the symptoms. Muscle fasciculations, muscle weakness. NUCA has been part of it, but we use some other alternative devices to help boost the body's overall health, and it's worked in many cases.
Well, how many, you know, people are a little sometimes leery of chiropractors because you have to go back so many times. So what's the average time, amount of adjustments or time that people have to return?
Well, about 1/4 of my patients, I'm able to fix them, realign them, and get them stable within 1 or 2 adjustments, plus say maybe 4 or 5 more visits where I'm just measuring them and determining that they're still realigned. But some other patients may need, say 5 adjustments. I say 5 adjustments and 5 checks might be average. A few patients you have to work on them maybe once a month, maybe 5 or 10% at the most. But most of the patients, you get them stable as soon as possible, and then they're good for months or years without needing another treatment.
You seem very serious. Do you have any chiropractic jokes you could tell us?
Well, let's see. How many chiropractors does it take to screw in a light bulb?
I don't know, 3?
Close. It takes 1 chiropractor, but it takes 30 visits.
Oh, that's very thank you, that's funny.
I have another one.
Okay.
What do you call a chiropractor that works on pets and animals?
Well, let's see, a petochiropractor?
Close, an animal cracker.
Oh my goodness, har, har, har. That's pretty corny, but nice. Thanks you for telling me those. We have another little something on the screen here, which I don't quite.
When we're adjusting someone, they're set up on their side, and as a chiropractor, I'm using that area of your neck called the episternal notch. I'm aligning that over a particular location on the person to determine what angle I'm going to adjust at. So I've made some measurements from the contact of the transverse process of C1. I may go up or down a number of inches and back to the front, and I'll put a little adhesive marker on there, and then I'll line my episternal notch over that area, and that helps me make sure I'm at the right angle to adjust.
Your episternal notch.
Right. I drop a plumb bob down from this notch, and I'm at just the precise angle for that patient, and I'm pulling my shoulders together and as hard as I possibly can. And when I do that, a small amount of force goes out, just enough to move the atlas.
And I know you're going like that.
I'm working as hard as I possibly can.
There you are. It's pretty amazing. It really is. But wait a minute. You yourself, you've had some really pretty severe accidents over the last years.
Have you heard that I'm accident prone?
Well, I was going to ask you about that. I mean, you broke your back and...
Yeah, I broke my back in a mountain bike accident a number of years ago. I broke the first lumbar vertebrae into 53 pieces.
53 pieces? Your back? Oh my goodness.
And I've had some other very severe injuries too.
Biking and or running or?
I was hit by cars once while walking and once while biking, and I've spent 35 days in the hospital so far. And but I recovered to be a Tamalpa trail runner, a long distance runner,
that's amazing.
A triathlete, and now mostly I'm just riding my bike. And
fishing, I know you fish.
Yeah, I have a sport fishing boat and I go out often.
It's amazing because you're so energetic and you're so, physical. That's admirable.
Yes.
And NUCA helped you, didn't it, get
I
over
was
this?
in terrible, severe pain starting when I was about 30 years old, terrible, severe sciatic pain. And I went to regular chiropractic, and it helped me a little bit, but I still had severe problems. And NUCA, in 3 weeks, did more than 3 years of regular chiropractic. But I was just one of those cases where I just needed NUCA, and regular chiropractic would not work.
Yeah, I find it fascinating.
Besides NUCA, this one is called a homeopathic imprinter. It's also called a bioenergetic imprinter, and it boosts the body's overall health. And it works in the realm of vibrational medicine, which is not part of regular medicine, not part of chiropractic. It's allied with homeopathics. And it's worked extremely well for some cases, particularly some autoimmune cases and cases where people have Lyme disease. It boosts the body's overall health and just helps them when their body's trying to recover from a difficult disease.
Well, I've used that. I mean, I find it just gives me a boost of energy a couple of times a day.
Yeah.
Plus, I like the color.
Yes, it's a great color. And what you do, the old-fashioned way of using it, turn it on, put your hands on it, press the button. It takes about 8 or 10 seconds. And when it beeps, it's finished its process. You do it 2 or 3 times a day. A few people who buy these and use them,
Oh, I'm full of energy now.
they get a Herxheimer reaction.
A Herxheimer? It's like a hiccup?
No, it's when the body's killed off a large number of bacteria.
Oh, I see.
The body has some trouble dealing with the dead bacteria, and they may have exhaustion and even night sweats for a couple of days. About 25% of people who use these complain of that, so we tell them to use it once a day for a week and then go up to 3 times a day.
I see. Wonderful.
But we've had great success with it, particularly for problems such as rheumatoid arthritis and other autoimmune conditions. Those conditions are usually caused by a low-grade bacterial infection. It's not enough to make the person sick, but it's enough to stimulate the immune system. The immune system then attacks the bacterial infection, but accidentally attacks joints too, the knees, the hands, everywhere.
Yeah.
And so if you can stop the bacterial infection using this and telling the patients to go on a low carbohydrate and a low sugar diet, usually they get tremendous results. And the diet is extremely important because you don't want to feed the bacteria with all that sugar. You want to give them a Paleolithic diet, meat and vegetables if possible, and give their body a chance to fight that infection.
Yes, that's right. It's very important what we eat as well as what we do with our bodies.
Yes.
So thank you so much.
And if someone wants to call with some questions or come by, they're welcome to. I'll give them a free evaluation.
And you take your time to talk to patients, and I think it's just great. Anyway, I'm a good advocate for you.
Well, you know, I'm a good advocate too because my life was just misery when I had sciatica. It was just terrible, much worse than when I broke my back. So now I became a chiropractor and I'm helping people the way I was helped when I was injured.
Yeah, that's great. Well, you know what I got to say? Thank you for coming. And you know what?
Nuka rocks.
Welcome back to Adventures in Feeling Young. I'm Pamela Rand, and I have a wonderful guest this evening. Her name is Melissa Thorne. She has a new studio in Novato, which is called
The Golden Yoga Method.
That's right. And I know you have classes at all different levels, but you do specialize in an interesting group of people. Tell us about it.
I do. I specialize in senior yoga. And so anyone who's 65 or older, they come and see me, and we work on balance and strengthening our muscles and increasing range of motion in our joints and just keeping us healthy. My oldest is 96, and I would say my youngest is about 72. They have all different types of body shapes and abilities, and they haven't been practicing their whole lives. They just sort of stumbled into my class one day.
So many people as they age, now we don't get old, but we do age.
I like to consider ourselves as being ageless.
You mentioned balance.
Yeah, we work with balance a lot. And that's
great.
really important because so often when we lose a step and we stumble a bit, if we've got a good sense of balance, we can recover and not fall. Let's do tree pose, and we'll start easy. We'll start with the left foot.
Okay.
And you can place the left foot right on side of the right ankle. Keep the tops of the toes down on the mat.
Okay.
Scoop your hips slightly under and tense up the right leg. So you want to contract the muscles.
Scoop my what?
Scoop your hips under.
Oh, my hips.
Your hips.
Okay.
Scoop them under. Squeeze your bum.
Squeeze my bum.
There you go. And let the knee open out to the side as much as it will. Now relax your upper body. Ooh, get a little loose. And now don't forget to breathe. And smile too, because that's always positive. Hey, you're looking good. All right.
Okay.
That's a little easy. So let's release out of that. And we'll step it up a little bit. Take a nice deep breath. If you find that you're unsteady, you're a little wobbly, you can always come back to the first round, placing the foot on side of the ankle with the big toe down. Anytime you need an extra assistance, hand on a wall, on a table, or on a chair does just the job. So some nice deep breaths, and just take it easy. come into the pose. Stay in the pose, give it a little bit of time, and then come out nice and easy. And switch to the other side. And that's pretty much it. You practice it a few times a day, maybe every single day while you're standing and washing dishes or you're folding the laundry. And before you know it, you'll be balancing good and your body will be right as rain.
Here I come.
Ah!
Hold on to the balance. Now
Try
watch
it
this.
again.
Okay, I was practicing out there. I've got to get it this time. See?
Knee
Here I
out
go.
to the side.
Watch this.
Ooh.
Whoa.
You've got
Whoa.
it. You've got it.
Ta-da!
Take a deep breath. Yes.
Well, I thought I had it.
You had it, definitely.
Well,
that was great.
That was good.
Perfect.
So I'll lean on you and do it again. Now,
Okay.
this is easy.
There you go.
And you do yours, I'll do mine.
All right.
Okay, here we go. So it's called Golden.
The Golden Yoga Method. Come and see me. I'm in Nevada.
Namaste.
Namaste.